get here around 9-ish almost every Sunday. We got a lot to do.
This is Starbucks, this is a launch. It's green. It's green. Launch. It's a green tea. A green tea.
That's the twins.
Did you not love that picture that they did? Yes, you did. Amy Trio did that. Oh, yes, yes. That was just beautiful. That was just such a picture. Took a few years off, too. Yeah. I don't know if I got the right one or not. Yeah. Yeah, I got it. I sent one picture of what I was gonna order to Lee, and Lee, is this it? And she said, that's what I ordered, so. And for me, that's what I ordered, well, I already had one, so I never voted for it. Did that, when you took it off, okay, you did, yeah, I did, yeah, you did. And we got his ticket and everything, I bought it, I bought, so, like, all of that there, which was good, so you had, well. They just have to, yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah, I was looking at their direct lights there.
Yeah, I think the last one they found is, I think. But, You're not gonna shoot for Australia. Not ready to get there, but yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. This is the. No. And where does he live? Right. And you have son next door. Daughter. Hello. You didn't know that,
Hey, how are you?
Yeah. Some of us probably come to the store.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, Gloria's gonna have to stand there.
I'm glad for a
I guess you need to do something.
Well, yesterday we had nothing on it, we got that film. How are you doing? Can you travel? Good. Okay.
Oh, well, actually, it's not
Yeah.
So what's the day, it's a way to the outside.
What do you think?
I don't know if it was really- You've already got the ground. So let's do it. It's not free trip. It's not so bad. Without her. And then you feed it where you want. I know. You get huge height. And they drink their own water. I guess you can. Well, yes, he's going through, but he loses some evaporation. But, yeah, they got I would think. They should.
I blame,
Ready to teach away?
I reckon.
You reckon, huh? You reckon?
Yeah.
You're looking smart.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Mom doing okay?
Yeah, she's doing great.
Good.
This one?
Yeah, it's only 45 minutes slow. I
Oh,
thought you just did put just one in it.
I don't think so. It was the one in
That
there.
we can't put back up.
Yeah.
How'd you get it in?
I used her cane and just popped it.
It's a little hard to put it back up.
Yeah. If we don't have a ladder, I'll be happy to put it up.
So there's a ladder downstairs. I can get it up. There's one in the basement leaning up against the wall. It's like an 8-foot step ladder. It's tall enough.
Yeah, I got something for you. I kind of threw this together.
Oh, I bet I know. I'm not going to look at it because I'm going to do mine first
Okay, okay,
before I look at it. I'll
Yeah,
keep it, but I just won't look at it.
okay,
I was going to do mine this afternoon and send it to you.
okay.
I said on the way to church here, I said, I'm going to do this and I'll send it to, do this afternoon. I'm going to send it to James. And I bet he hadn't done his yet, but he cannot look at mine first if he wants. So I'm
Yeah.
going to do the exact
Yeah.
opposite.
I did mine like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know why I just sat on it.
Yeah. I don't want to look at it yet, but I'm going to do mine this afternoon. I'll send you something.
Yeah, okay.
took the piece of paper that was in it.
Stapled the deposit sheet to it. Oh, yeah. We get more, every time you hear it, I got a notice.
Yeah. From where? Yeah, I'm representing the Liberals. Good morning, everybody. If everybody can find their seats. All right, we'll wait for Bob to come back. So, welcome. Happy New Year. Is this our first Sunday in 2026? Very cool. And so, Bible class this morning, we're going to talk about David. And what we've been doing, gentlemen, on Wednesday night is going through the life of David. And we looked at it from the viewpoint of the Psalms. to some, we did it fairly chronologically, but we also looked at the Psalms that he wrote during his life and when he wrote them and what were the circumstances around why he wrote them. And we've done that for a whole quarter. So, ladies, in the end, since we only have a few minutes this morning, we'll just start from the beginning, and I'll teach the whole quarter in 45 minutes. Ready? But you came in at, well, it's always a good time, but you came in at a good time. This is our last lesson, gentlemen, on David, and it's entitled Living Well, Finishing Well. And so we've seen all of David's life, and our last discussion was David had fled Jerusalem as Absalom took over or usurped, or however you want to say that, tried to become king of Jerusalem, at Jerusalem. And David went off to the east across the Jordan and we called it Manhattan because we didn't know how to pronounce like Manaheim or something like that. So David was in exile. That's the word I was trying to use. David was in exile there. Absalom army and David's army clashed, and guess who's won? David's won, and Absalom was killed. And so the tribes decided they want David back, and they bring him back. And so this is towards the end of David's life, and has done a great many things. But I'd like to start out in one of my favorite Psalms this morning, Psalms 37. Let's all turn there. Loved this since I was a kid. And it's a long one, so we won't read the whole thing. There's just different parts. We also discovered, and you guys probably already knew, at the beginning of Psalms, there's an introduction. Do folks have wording before the first verse in their Bible for Psalm 37? Almost like a caption. He will not forsake his saints. Okay. Rest in the Lord. Little louder. Say it again. Oh. Psalm 37. Okay. I guess mine's the only one that's right. Mine says, a Psalm of David, the wisdom of an aged man. And then there are a couple sections. Mine's got the righteous will prosper, the wicked cut off, is 1 through 11. The comparison between wicked and righteousness, 12 to 22, and the sure deliverance and security of the righteous, 23 through 40. This psalm's also called the Fret Not Psalm because it appears, at least in my version, a few times. Someone want to read verse 1, verse 7, and verse 8. What does it mean to fret? Worry? Okay. David wrote, inspired, fret not. So did David have reason to fret in his lifetime? How can he write this? He's learned a lot. He grew. Is that what you said? Yeah, this is after, I would think. So, all throughout our study, we've seen David in treacherous times, and we've read in his Psalms treachery. Oh, me, oh, my. And then very suddenly he changes his theme, his tune to my God. I put my trust in thee. Thou hast delivered me. Cut off my enemies. And he's seen it. He's lived it. So if anybody could say fret not, it's probably David. Yeah. Yeah. Right. And sometimes preachers preach things that they know they can work on. It is. Yeah. Especially right in the middle of what is causing those feelings. And some of this is resenting someone else. Like, I'm in this position, but look at this guy. Look at this guy over here. He's despicable. But look at him driving nice cars, going to the lake on Sunday morning, passing by Frank. But the psalm does teach us that eventually the righteous will prosper, as this is laid out. The wicked will be cut off. It's also called the wait for the Lord psalm. It's called the fret not psalm, and it's also called the wait for the Lord psalm in Psalms 37. If someone would read 7, 9, and 34. 7, 9, and 34.
Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not yourself over the one who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices. 9.
Verse 9.
For the evildoer shall be cut off, but those who wait for the Lord shall inherit the land.
Okay. Verse 34.
Wait for the Lord and keep his way, and he will exalt you to inherit the land. You will look on when the wicked are cut off.
Okay. So David has seen and predicts for us that when we are in those fretful situations, like we read in verse 7, to wait patiently, which is kind of hard to do in this day and age. Wait patiently. We're so used to putting something in the microwave and beep, 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 and it comes out hot. Drive through for just about anything now. It's hard to be patient because the hard part is, and this is where here's how you learn it. And how we can be victorious in this and have a good attitude is we don't have to have it in this life. It's not just this life where we receive our reward. It's nice to get it during this life, and it has, and it does. We're promised that as well. But when we say we wait patiently, sometimes that means waiting on God to take care of it. So,
We need to keep our eyes on Jesus and not on other people.
that's true. Yeah. Yeah. And not compare ourselves. Yeah. Yep. Just compare yourself to yesterday's self. But we only think in this lifetime. God considers eternity. And though we just talked about eternity, verse 4 says, take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. that could be now. So here's how we should conduct ourselves. In verse 30 and 31. The mouth of the righteous utters wisdom, and his tongue speaks justice. The law of his God is in his heart, and his steps do not slip. That's how we should conduct ourselves. Peacefully, wise. You see that from David? David was very wise. Justice. What do you think of when you think of justice? How can we speak justice?
I think we all think of that if it would be brought to justice.
Right.
So that's not.
Okay. Okay. God is just. How about us? You should be. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Okay. The law of his God is in his heart. We know that one, right? And I like his steps do not slip. So if the law of God is in your heart and your tongue speaks justice, you utter wisdom righteously, your steps will not slip. Who ensures that? God does. Right. That's right. That's part of the waiting. And I've said this before. It makes me think of that post I saw online while we're waiting. What do waiters do? Think of a restaurant. They serve. So while we're waiting, we need to be serving. Remember Ebenezer, the guy that was here for a couple of weeks? Don't we love him? Love him. We'll end with this two verses, 23 and 24. The steps of a man are from the Lord, and he establishes him in whose way he delights. Though he fall, he shall not be cast headlong, for the Lord is the stay of his hand. I was thinking about Ebenezer's, we're in God's hands last week when he preached to us. So though we fall, it's not the end. We're not headlong. It doesn't mean total destruction, but God is there to catch us when we fall. And let's make sure that we read why we know this is when he was older. Why didn't I make a note of that? Yes, thank you, Bob. verse 25 and 26. I have been young and now am old. Yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, or his children begging bread. He is ever giving liberally and lending, and his children become a blessing. Can't we rely on that? That's where I learned this as a young person. Verse 25 and 26. I've been young and now I'm old, so I've seen it all. Yet, one thing I haven't seen is the righteous forsaken. I love that. David never saw the righteous forsaken, particularly himself, or his children begging bread. God is ever giving liberally and lending. That's not true. This is the righteous. And his children become a blessing. Okay. Psalm 139. This one is the prayer of a believing heart. Anyone else's have a different introduction? Search me, O God. Psalm 139. God's of man. Okay. This is also broken down in a couple sections: the omniscient God, the omnipresent God, the God of creation, and concluding prayer for the wicked and for self. So, verse 6, after leading a long life full of lessons, David writes in verse 6, such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain it. This is how much he relied on God and how he knew God knew everything. God is, it says omniscient, but that's also omnipresent as well in the beginning. Thou knowest when I sit down and when I rise up. Thou discernest my thoughts from afar. Thou searchest out a path of my lying down and art acquainted with my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Thou dost beset me behind and before. Does anybody have a different word there? Enclosed. Hem me in. I think this word means hedged. You've enclosed me. You've hemmed me in. Y'all remember when that happened to David? And he was with Achish, I think it was, and Saul was after him, but God put a hedge around him so that they couldn't get in. And even Saul tried to do it. We don't want to talk about the end of that story. This is a PG class. So, thou dost hedge or close me in behind and before, and thou layest thy hand upon me. Again, back to last week's sermon. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain it. Where shall I go from your spirit? Or where should I flee from thy presence? If I ascend into heaven, you're there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you're there. If I take the wings, verse 9, if I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea. Even there thy hand shall lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. If I say, let only darkness cover me, and the light about me be night. Even the darkness is not dark to thee. The night is as bright as the day, for darkness is as light with thee. And then, Mike, would you read 13 and 14?
For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
Okay. Does that resound with you, Mr. Anatomy? Does that resound with you?
That's probably one of the most significant verses in the Bible.
I agree. That's why I wanted you to read those. You want to share why?
When you've dug around in cadavers for over 60 years, you come to know how fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yeah. I remember you teaching a Bible class. What's that? Yeah. So you said how many years?
About 65.
65 years of teaching students. So 65 times 100? How many? Yeah.
Average probably about 180.
Whoa. So 6,500 times 2. Thank you.
Concerning him closing this before and behind him, if you've had occasion to study embryology, you know that as the fetus develops, it is enclosed in the front by an enfolding of light on both sides, and we are enclosed from behind by an enfolding of the rest of the
Wow. Did y'all get that?
pick up an embryology book sometime and study.
Okay. I wonder what embryology book David read to write that.
Maybe it had a special teacher.
Yeah. And so did your students. Yeah, I remember that Bible class where you taught us that. I was even out of town, but I made sure I listened to hear that. Yes, I did. So it's hard to respond to that. So where can we go that God's not there? Nowhere. So God is always with us. He knows everything. He's created everything. What do we have to fret about in verse 37? I mean, Psalm 37. If we have that power on our side, why do we fret? Besides being human. So where can we go that God is not there? What thoughts can we have that God doesn't read? What can we say that God doesn't hear? What can we do that God does not see? So, in that context, how are we supposed to conduct ourselves? God can see, hear, read your mind. But we can walk uprightly before God. He can also see our failings. I love David's earnest plea in verse 23 and 24 of 139. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. See if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. That's a dangerous prayer, isn't it? What does yours say? In verse 19? Yep. Hate's a strong word, and it might be a translation issue, but I don't know. Do I not hate them that hate you, O Lord? Do I not loathe them that rise up against thee? Loathe is even harder. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies.
This is probably the more difficult area for most of us to understand. I mean, probably all of us have prayed for months and years now. Putin to be destroyed or removed. It's difficult, little Paul, David, in relationship with Saul, constant pursuit.
Yeah.
Wickedness, attempting to take his life. That's a difficult area.
Yeah.
From the Christian to understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Because God is love. Does God love Putin? Does God love David's enemies? It's not a trick question. Sometimes it's hard to be God for us. Sometimes it's hard. But God knows the heart, and we can always pray, help me be better. If there's any wicked way in me, lead me in the way everlasting.
I think we often forget that God is watching us every minute of every day. If we really could comprehend that, He's aware of all of our words, our actions, our attitudes. Help us to
Yeah.
live there,
Yeah.
do there,
Right. I agree.
but we so soon forget.
Yeah. And I think it's a maturity where you face a temptation and you go, what would God think? I don't want God rewards me. And I've said this many times. I think this is our definition of fear. I don't want God to take his blessings away from me. He still loves me, but I don't want to take a chance that my sin alienates me from God, which it does. But if I continue in it, alienates me from God. Do I want to be there? I would not want to be there. Yeah. Yeah. You just have to keep remembering that. Keep remembering that. Psalm 103 is a good one to go back and look at. In the interest of time, we may skip that one because we've got to conclude. We've got a couple minutes to conclude our lessons, fellas. So, do you remember when somebody would promise something and they would say, yeah, famous last words? Y'all remember that one? Has anybody ever heard that one? Those are famous last words. And so let's look at David's last words. I don't think it's meant in the same regard, but let's remember his famous last words. 1 Kings 2. First Kings. Can someone read 1 through? To the end of verse 4. Okay. So who is David talking to? Solomon. And these are David's last words, and they are very applicable to us. Let's put ourselves in Solomon's spot. I'm about the way to be strong and show yourself a man or woman. And keep the charge of the Lord your God, walking in his ways, keeping his statutes, his commandments, his ordinances, his testimony, as it is written in the law of Moses. Maybe part of the law of Moses, a lot of, for us, the gospel, the New Testament, that you may prosper in all that you do and wherever you turn. Just follow God's testimonies, ordinances, his word, and you are promised. And not just here, in a lot of parts of the New Testament, you are promised prosperity in all that you do and wherever you turn. And then there's the promise that we read before that God said to David, if your sons take heed to their way to walk before me in faithfulness with all their heart and with all their soul, there shall not fail you a man on the throne of Israel. That didn't take long for that to dissipate, but God kept his promise. Who is on the throne of Israel right now? Jesus. Jesus is the son of David. Jesus is also the root of David. And there's a lot of discussion on how can someone say, remember the Pharisees got in a fight with Jesus, and Jesus shut them up fast. He said, so Christ is the root of David, but he's also the son of David. How can that be? And they didn't have an answer for him. So what is the we have the benefit, I guess, of hindsight in the Bible. What does it mean how is Jesus the root of David and also the son of David?
He was the creator of Mary, but he was also Mary's son.
Okay. How?
He was God that came from him.
Mm-hmm.
He came to earth. He came to man.
Yeah. And he's in the genealogy. You can read it all the way down to his parents. depending on which one you read, Joseph or Mary, they were all descendants of David, or he was, and they were descendants of David, all the way back up to Abraham, who talked to Abraham? God. Well, yeah, God. Adam, but probably didn't talk to Abraham. I don't think they were, were best buddies. So that's how David, or Jesus, is the root of David and the son of David. Tough shoes to fill for Solomon, and then the sons as they move on. But all of the kings were compared to David. You can read about like Solomon in 1 Kings 11. For when Solomon was old, his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not wholly true to the Lord his God, as was the heart of David his father. Yeah. Yep. Humans are crazy. Solomon did what was evil in the sight of the Lord and did not wholly follow the Lord, as David his father had done. And then Abijam is how I pronounce it. In 1 Kings 15, David's reign was compared to the reign of Abijam in verse 3 and 5. And he walked in all the sins which his father did before him, and his heart was not wholly true to the Lord his God, as the heart of David his father. Not literally. David, his ancestor. Nevertheless, for David's sake, the Lord his God gave him a lamp in Jerusalem, sending up his son after him and establishing Jerusalem, because David did what was right in the eyes of the Lord. It did not turn aside from anything that he commanded him in all the days of his life, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. So I maybe we end with that lesson. David was not perfect. We studied him for a quarter, and we talked a lot about his failings and how could he do that? The good thing is we don't have to be perfect either. Yeah. Somebody might look at us and go, how can you do that? What in the world were you thinking? Yeah, it's certainly a striving to become perfect. So that's one of my answers to this next question. What are your favorite lessons from David? Forgiveness. No matter what. Okay. Yep, I like that. He accepted sin's consequences without anger or resentment. That's kind of how I put that one. Do not have to be perfect.
I would say that probably one of the biggest issues to me is how he can turn the page.
Okay.
From one event to the next in such a crisp, just move on.
Okay. Forgetting what lies behind.
Yeah.
Kind of what we're saying. Striving for.
I thought that's very difficult.
So,
We all do. Fast.
okay. Okay. Um, love.
Almost for me. His love was so, so, what did I say?
Mm-hmm.
His heart was, I mean, yeah, he was a man who was there, you know, he was against the law. But the bottom line was, the love was always opposite.
Okay. Yeah.
It was his love of God and his, was translated into his faith.
Yeah. So he fully trusted God for everything. Maybe you're saying because of his love for God. I know I've said this a lot of times. I'm just totally blanking this morning. He was a man after God's own heart. I think it's either Acts or Romans that's in there. He chose David because of his heart. Remember being brought, all his brothers were brought before Samuel to be anointed the next king. And they, right down the line, they sorted them tallest to shortest. I don't know did y'all know that in the Bible? So they did an Excel file and so David or Samuel went one by one, and none of them were accepted. And Samuel goes, "Is this all you got?" Well, no, and they brought David out of the field, and he goes, "There he is." Because God looks at the heart, not on the outside as men do. So, just got David's heart.
He has strong faith in God too. Can you imagine if a young man could go out against the world?
Right.
In the strength of the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. The battle belongs to the Lord. It's in there. And I like him. I like how when he approaches that scene, he goes, "Who is this guy that's talking trash on God?" And everybody else was sitting back, scared. And David's like, "Who is this guy?" And then he did something about it. So that's very important. And that Jesus is the Messiah because of the fulfillments of the prophecies in David's time. So all of that helps us to know that Jesus was who he said he was. So David's mentioned over 100 times in the New Testament. And so very important person in our lives, one we surely should try and emulate. Any questions before we wrap up? It was a great study for me. I don't know about you guys, but it was an awesome study. Bob introduced us, did a great job going through the 3 kings. And that's when I thought about this. I have a book, but I had to dust it off and study some more about David. Used that book plus the scriptures to kind of tell us all about David and his heart.
Did you learn about God from his mother and father? Were they strong?
Yeah. Yeah, they Jewish. Yeah. So let's pray. Father in heaven, thank you. Thank you for this day, and thank you for our opportunities to share the word together and to view characters and learn lessons from them in deep fashion so that they can make an imprint on our lives and help us to remember things while we're in the middle of our throes, that we remember that you are with us and that you are powerful and that we can rely on you to deliver us from anything that we face. Help us to remember that. Help us to remember that and forgive us when we don't. And sometimes we try and do it on our own and fail. And we pray that that you'll forgive us for trying or for not having adequate faith to turn it over to you. Bless us as we go into another lesson around the apostles. Again, help us to learn what we can from those men who spent time with Jesus and figure out what impact that had on them and how it can have impact on us. Thank you for Blaine's willingness to dig deep and learn that and then teach it to us. Thank you for Jerry being here today, and we're excited to hear his sermon today. Bless him as he presents that, and help us as we listen to find something to apply to our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Yep. Whew. Bless the song leader today. That goes without saying. Really? I thought I picked, because I didn't know what the topic really was about. I thought I picked yes, different churches do different songs.